Welcome back to the Communication Workers of America, CWA Human Rights, Our Power, a justice-filled hour of talk, solidarity, and worker power. Right here on KYOK 1140 AM and the all-new 106.5 FM. If you're on the go, you can take us with you on kyokradio.org. We have an awesome show lined up for you today, so don't you dare change that dial. Our union brothers and sisters and siblings at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette have been outside for 18 months striking on the picket lines, and yet while they are striking, they are still churning out the news with facts for you and me. Let's show our support to them by subscribing to unionprogress.com. That's unionprogress.com. And once you subscribe to this free publication, how about going over and donating to their strike fund at cwa.org/ppg-donate. And I just heard someone shout, "We are family." Yes, we are. Our brothers, sisters, and siblings at Maximus are still fighting for a contract. We ask that you continue to support the workers of Maximus and their families at cwa.org/CCW Solidarity Fund. It's almost summer. The days are getting longer, and we have more time to get outside and let our union voices be heard. Let our union voices ring in every district from Alaska to Maine, from Texas to Minnesota. Speaking of letting our voices be heard, the Association of Flight Attendants, AFA CWA, are out in full force across the globe today. It's Solidarity Summer, Worldwide Flight Attendant Day of Action. Code red, code red. Get those chains off the door. Summer travel is coming and corporate greed is in full swing. AFA CWA is kicking off their red hot Solidarity Summer with a worldwide Flight Attendant Day of Action to demand our contracts. Airline executives have had no problem doling out massive raises for themselves, and AFA is coming for our share of the profits we create. Our solidarity transcends airlines. Together, in the heat of the summer travel season, we'll show management and the flying public that we're united in the fight to raise the standards for our careers. No matter what uniform you wear, you've earned the long-term security, benefits, flexibility, dignity, and respect that comes with a strong contract. It's time for airline management to pay up and get this done. Join us today, Thursday, June 13th, at more than 30 airports for a worldwide day of action. It's our turn. You may get more information by going to afacwa.org/June 13th. Again, that's afacwa.org/June 13th, the Association of Flight Attendants. There's another opportunity to let your voice be heard coming up on June 29th. Join the Mass Poor Peoples and Low-Wage Workers Assembly and Moral March on Washington, D.C. and to the polls. That's Saturday, June 29th, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, Washington, D.C., 3rd and Pennsylvania Avenue. Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival. We are resurrection, not an insurrection. For more information, check out their website at poorpeoplescampaign.org. Again, poorpeoplescampaign.org. You're tuned into KYOK 1140 AM and the all-new 106.5 FM. If you're on the go, you can take us with you on kyokradio.org. James Baldwin was an American author, essayist, and playwright whose powerful writing, insightful commentary on race, and passionate civil rights activism made him one of the most influential social and cultural commentators in the 20th century America. Baldwin rose to prominence with the publication of his 1953 debut novel, Go Tell It on the Mountain, which explores issues of queerness, sexuality, race, religion, and Black culture in ways both groundbreaking and transgressive for its time. He went on to write 5 more novels, including Another Country, If Beale Street Could Talk, Giovanni's Room, which focuses on male homosexuality and bisexuality, masculinity, isolation, stigma, bigotry, and related themes. He also penned two plays, The American Corner in 1955 and Blues for Mr. Charlie in 1964, as well as a half dozen short stories and several poetry collections. As impressive as his fiction bibliography is, James Baldwin was most prolific as a nonfiction writer, writing more than 100 articles and a great many essay collections, including Notes of a Native Son, 1955, Nobody Knows My Name, 1961, and The Fire Next Time, 1963. Baldwin was an intellectual fixture in mid-century America. He earned a Guggenheim Fellowship in 1954, a George Polk Memorial Award in 1963, and Commandeur de Légion d'Honneur, France's highest honor of merit, in 1986. His advocacy, participation, and public speaking regarding civil rights lent the movement an added weight and gravitas, which helped build the momentum that led to landmark social progress. At times, however, Baldwin, one of only two prominent and openly LGBT figures in the civil rights movement, the other being Bayard Rustin, found himself in an uncomfortable place as the movement's attitude toward homosexuality and bisexuality were often hostile. As with many activists of that era, the FBI monitored Baldwin closely and compiled a nearly 2,000-page file on him. Baldwin also faced off opposite William F. Buckley, the 20th century's foremost conservative intellectual, in a legendary public debate on the topic of whether the American dream had been achieved at the expense of African Americans. The debate took place in the UK at the Cambridge Union, the historic debating society of the University of Cambridge. The spectating student body voted overwhelmingly in Baldwin's favor. Baldwin's masterful speech drew a resounding standing ovation and remains praised to this day, not only as an incredible feat of moral clarity, but of rhetorical oration. As to his sexuality, Baldwin has widely been described as a gay man. However, he did not think of himself as a gay or homosexual, despite openly being a man who had romantic and sexual relationships with other men. The fact is, Baldwin had relationships with women early in his life, and in the years just prior to his death, he penned two essays, Here Be Dragons, 1985, and To Crush the Serpent, 1987, in which he wrote about how love transcends sex and gender, and that it is the individual one falls in love with, not their sex. He disliked sexual orientation labels, in part because of how they changed and shifted over times, but also because he felt they were limiting. A common attitude among those who are bisexual in all but name. Baldwin, in an interview with Maya Angelou around 1975 regarding falling in love, said, "If I love you, I love you. And if I love you and I duck it, I die." In his final days with the battle of cancer, Fred Nall Hollis, an American artist from Fairhope, Alabama, was Mr. Baldwin's caretaker. Nall had been friends with Baldwin for many years. He used to meet Baldwin in Cafe de Flore, and there Mr. Baldwin used to buy him drinks. Nall recalled talking to Baldwin shortly before his death about racism in Alabama. In one of his conversations, Nall told Baldwin, "Through your books, you liberated me from my guilt about being so bigoted coming from Alabama and because of my homosexuality." Baldwin insisted, "No, you liberated me in revealing this to me. On December 1st, 1987, at the age of 63, Baldwin passed away in France. Happy Pride Month and Black History. Up next, we have Kim Lanier, the co-director of the Texas Federation of the People United. Good morning, Kim. It is so wonderful to have you with us today on the CWA Human Rights Hour Power Show.
Good morning, and good morning to the listeners. I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
I am so glad to have you in the studio with us today. So let's jump right into this interview because I know we have so much to talk about today. Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I am Kimberlene Lanier, and as you stated, I am the co-director for Texas Federation of the People United, and I'm also the founder of Life Touch Global Community Service Group. And we're an organization that serves the community in every place we're needed.
And what kind of work does Life Touch do? What kind of work do you all do?
So we service the community, particularly the high needs community. For those who are not used to that term, it simply means the underserved community. And we provide resources that undergird the whole man. So we don't want to just give you gainful employment or career paths. We also want to address mental health challenges that you may be having, ride programs that you may get a good job, but you may not have access to transportation to get back and forth for at least the first 90 days. We also highlight non-traditional pathways because we hear a lot about the traditional pathways to success. For instance, going to the university. So we have non-traditional pathways that used to be traditional in our communities, such as the unions. You know, there was a time that we had things like shop in our high schools. Now we don't have those. So we don't really have access to the information pertaining to those blue collar skilled labor jobs that pay a high wage. And you don't necessarily have to go the university pathway to have access to working in and organizing your career. So we focus on those things. We focus on policies and social justice. Why? Because a lot of our youth, especially, are in high school. They're dealing with houselessness, homelessness, because of, they may have had family members that have got caught up in maybe drugs or something. They're just not stable. It doesn't have to be a demeaning story to say that somebody struggled. So we are here to catch you at the transitional pathway from trauma and point you to destiny rather than you make decisions that could potentially destroy your life. We're here to give you career resources, and it makes your life manageable because we undergird you by highlighting other resources that'll help you sustain your life for right now and as you govern your career path forward.
Kimberlene, you said two things, and I want to ask you two questions about what you said. You brought in SHOP. Will you tell our listening audience what SHOP is? Because they may not know what SHOP is.
So shop was an elective in high school where we went to wood shop, we went to sewing, we went to cooking classes. It gave us what we call life skills for independent living. It addressed those pathways to what was in my day was traditional pathways to careers, and then we opened up other pathways through human rights that gave us access to better jobs or what we thought was better jobs. It gave us access to go to the university, and when I say we, it's people of color. You know, we didn't always have those rights, or we were not always welcome in those spaces. And based on my belief and where I sit in the community, those pathways are great, and now they've become traditional pathways, but I want to revisit the non-traditional, or what has become non-traditional pathways, which is electrical, plumbing, carpentry, the CWA, communication, to give you what is now become non-traditional pathways to success, only because it's not talked about in the high needs communities. Also, I want to highlight that unions are the biggest employers of those who are coming out of or dealing with the system of recidivism, meaning you've either been to prison or you're on probation for a felony, or you may have a colorful past, or you may not have that high school or not high school, you may not have that university education or degree. The union, I tout it, I push it because it is the best path forward if you don't want to go through what is called a traditional pathway.
But thank you so much for pushing the union, because we know unions do have good jobs and pay great benefits. One of the other terms that I also heard you say was houseless and homeless. What does houseless and homeless look like for our listening audience?
So, when we talk about homeless, we typically envision the person on the concrete downtown or in a major metropolitan area that that's a full adult that may have made some life choices due to his circumstance that may just be on the streets. But HISD just released a survey in the recent weeks that highlighted students who are houseless. And when I say houseless, they may be couch surfing. They may be living with another family member. They may be living in a car because I have students that are doing it. They may be living on the streets. You know, houselessness is a term that refers to that body of individuals. And then homelessness is those who have been stagnated in that process, meaning they've been in that process for more than 2 or 3 years, right? And they may be full adults living in a homeless situation where they're chronically and consistently homeless, meaning they don't have a couch to lay on anymore. They're outside in the elements or at the risk of being exposed. They don't have a facility to go to because our homeless shelters really are running over at an overcapacitated volume. So we target those individuals, and that happens with children coming out of CPS, that's protective service, child protective service. So that system, remember, when they got into that system, they were unstable in the home environment, and it was to their detriment. So the state took over the care of that child, and so these children are aged out at 18, and after they've completed high school or not completed high school. At 18, if they're still in high school, they're still in the CPS system. But once they complete or are at the age where they should have completed the high school education, then they're aged out. They're booted out of that system. The state of Texas has a system that says we'll opt you back in. You form a contract with the state of Texas. They say if you are employed, if you are pursuing a skilled labor training, and if you are going to the university or pursuing a higher education, they will pay for your housing. And your agreement is, in response to that, is if you do that for me, state, then what I'll do is remain drug free. I will go to financial literacy consistently. Like, you have to go at least twice a month. And I'll go see a mental health advisor twice a month. For someone like me who works amongst that population, that is gold, because our vision between Texas Federation of the People and Life Touch, our vision is to make sure that we provide resources to fully wrap around these individuals everything that they need, not to just be gainfully and successfully employed, but be a gainful, successful individual, because these individuals are coming to a community near us. And if we want to address crime, if we want to address recidivism, if we want to address voters' rights, if we want to address any of these social norms, we have to care enough to give them the resources that they need to be successful, not just gainfully employed.
Mm-hmm. And so, Kimberlene, I understand that there is a North Houston Youth Career Carnival that is going to be happening. So, would you tell us about it, and what is the goal of this particular event that is coming up?
So we have partnered with Pastor Claude Cummins III at the Victory International Church. And we like partnering with the faith-based community because despite popular opinion, the churches are still very prominent. People still attend the churches and they become a pillar in the community. So again, I want to get back to what we used to hold as a traditional route. So we partner with the Victory International Church and we're holding a carnival. Why? Because I understand it's a Saturday. We're asking parents to bring their youth out or the youth that are of age to come out to this event. We'll have light refreshments. It's hot in Houston. We're having the popcorn machine. We're having a DJ. We're having the snow cone machine. We're having the Victory International Church on Fridays give a food bank boxes away. We're reserving some of those boxes to give out to the first 15 attendants to come. So we're giving you resources that you value in exchange for you coming to get resources that can change your life. We'll have non-traditional pathways to education by having K-12 schools. One particular K-12 partner that's coming is PSAT, and that's a school who has a beautiful, not just national, but international school program where they are, they have a beautiful sports portion connected to the program where you can go to basketball camps. You can earn your high school diploma, and it is an accredited school. We're also having barber and beauty colleges come out because again, I want to get us back to the basics. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with going on the traditional route, but we need to reimagine what our pathway to success looks like. We're going to have organizations there that will offer you resume writing. I know AI is a thing, but some of our youth still need hands-on. So I'm pointing you to those resources that are still hands-on, that can still talk to you and say, consider this when you're looking for employment or putting your resume out there. And it's not just open to youth between the ages of 16 and 25. That's our target demography for this event. However, it's open to anyone who needs a different pathway forward. We're even having a mortuary school come out. Why? Because mortuary schools, you can get 5 entrepreneurial pathways. You have to get a cosmetology license, believe it or not. You got to learn how to do hair. You got to learn how to cut it. You can stop right there. A funeral director, a mortician, embalming. Those are lucrative fields that don't require a whole lot of time in a university setting. You can start earning more money in as few as 2 years. With the union, you can start earning immediate money. So we'll have union representatives there, to let you know how to connect with them. We'll have traditional and non-traditional resources that you can tap into and consider and think about it differently. At Life Touch, my motto is, if I can change your mind, I can change your life.
Mm. Wow. Now, one of the things that we had talked earlier about the Life Touch Global, will you tell me a little bit more about Life Touch Global, and then we'll go into the when and where the carnival will be, because there was some vital information that when we talked previously about Life Touch that I think the listening audience would be slighted if they didn't get. So will you fill us in on Life Touch Global?
So Life Touch Global is a consulting company, and we work alongside for and nonprofits to hone their programming in such a way that we have programs for everybody. Meaning, if your vision is to touch homelessness, I'm going to bring all the resources to you through consulting so that you'll have a programming like this job fair to say, these are the things you need for your business to reach its full vision and reach the audience. Because a lot of things that are happening in the high needs communities is life is so busy. They may be like myself. I was a young mother. So a young mother, now I have the responsibility of taking care of a life outside of myself. I have son at 17, I need to figure out how I can get my high school diploma. I need to figure out how I can learn how to manage money. I need to figure out my career options. I need to figure out, I have this baby. If something happens to me, how am I going to empower somebody to take care of my baby with the finances? I needed all those resources. So what I needed as a 17-year-old mother, Life Touch is bringing to organizations so that they will be successful. People will be aware. They can reach their target audience in meaningful, successful ways. And we're keeping the cost down. A lot of these organizations can offer these services to you at low or no cost. For instance, I myself am a benefactor of Obamacare. I have great insurance. I don't pay a lot into the insurance. It doesn't cost me but $5 to see my primary care physician. I have access to benefits that I need to take care of myself so that I can take care of the responsibility of being a great community as an individual, and I can be healthy.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. Now, you have touched on some things that really have lifted my eyebrows regarding some things. Now, many of the people in the listening audience don't know because I don't think I've shared with this, but I know the radio show host team knows this. I am in the funeral industry as well myself. So you are definitely telling the truth on what can be done. As a matter of fact, in the month of August, I will finish my second test. I'm finished with the program here in Birmingham, Alabama, but I will have to take my state test come this August, and I will be completed with the program. So the money is lucrative. So if you want to get into that, please reach out to Miss Kimberlene Lanier so you can get involved in that and learn more about that as well. Now, since we're talking about the North Houston Youth Career Carnival, we've told you what it was about. We know what the goal of the event is. Now, Miss Kim, will you please tell us when and where this carnival will be?
It will be this Saturday, June 15th at the Victory International Church. The address is 170 Rittenhouse. That's Rittenhouse, and that's in Houston, Texas. The hours are from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We'll be there. You also can go and get the information from the website at www.4txfpf united spelled out.com. Again, that website is the number 4 txfpf united.com.
All right. And how can people contact you about the event? Is there a particular number that they need to contact?
Yes, they can contact me at 281-653-4217. Again, that's 281-653-4217.
All right. The North Houston Youth Career Carnival. Kim, you have provided a wealth of information to the listening audience. Now, one of the things that again, we were talking before we went on air, and I want to circle back to it right quick and make sure the listening audience knows, because we never know who's listening to be able to reach out to help a youth or an adult or whoever. So going back, we talked about going back into the CPS division and some programs that they had. Will you kind of touch on that for us a little bit? Because we want to make sure that we're setting individuals up for success.
Again, so if you are in CPS and you're getting ready to age out, or if you've already aged out of the CPS and you've not yet made 21 in the state of Texas, right? Because I'm not familiar with the other entities outside of the state of Texas. But if you're residing in the state of Texas and you're either getting ready to age out at 18 and on completion of your high school education or whatever that path looks like, or you were once in that system and you are not yet 21. You can reach out to your worker, you can opt back into the system, and you sign a contract with the state of Texas that says if you remain drug free, you address mental health issues by going to counseling, and you agree to go to financial counseling if you're pursuing a trade or a skilled labor in a program or join a union, or if you are working at a traditional job or whatever, or pursuing a university degree, a high school degree, or a university degree at a college or a local college, they will pay for your housing. So you can contact your workers to get more information, or you can contact me and I'll put you in contact with somebody who can help you navigate that process, because there are housing instability amongst our youth is a growing problem. I've seen it grow expeditiously and to a large number, especially here in the last several years since COVID. I believe COVID really highlighted the epidemic of youth being chronically houseless or homelessness. Either their home lives are unstable or it wasn't safe, so they're not in their homes anymore, or they're aging out of the system. And most of those that are aging out of the system are at great risk of aging out of CPS, houseless slash homeless, because they're already disconnected from their original family.
All right. Thank you so much, Kim. This Saturday, June 15th, 2024, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., the Victory International Church, 170 Rittenhouse, Houston, Texas. 7706 is the zip code. The North Houston Youth Career Carnival. Thank you so much for being with us and in the studio this morning, and we look forward to having you back with us. You're listening to the Communication Workers of America, CWA Human Rights, Our Power, a justice-filled hour of talk, solidarity, and worker power, right here on KYOK 1140 AM and the all-new 106.5 FM. And if you're on the go, you can take us with you on kyokradio.org. Timya Wiley is up next with Union Buster of the Week. Good morning, Timya.
Good morning, Errol. Thank you for having me back for another installment of the Union Buster of the Week. So this week, we're going to talk about Walmart. While Walmart may boast impressive profits and a sprawling presence everywhere, its treatment of workers paints another darker picture, one that comes with exploitation and suppression of basic rights. Walmart, with its vast workforce, has consistently opposed unionizing efforts. Why? Because unions represent a threat to its unchecked power and profit margins, basically saying that Walmart would have to pay a living wage out of its profits. Walmart employs various tactics to discourage workers from organizing, from relentless anti-union propaganda, like commercials on TV, pictures and things that they need to watch before they clock in, to outright retaliation against employees who express union sympathies. So just imagine being a Walmart employee facing intimidation, harassment, or even termination for daring to try to advocate for better working conditions and fair treatment for yourself and your colleagues. This is the reality for many Walmart workers who have been systematically silenced by the company's anti-union tactics. But unfortunately, it's not just about Walmart. It's about the broader implications for workers' rights and social justice. When corporations like Walmart suppress unionization, they contribute to the erosion of labor standards and the widening wealth gap. They perpetuate a system where workers are denied a voice and are forced to accept whatever scraps are thrown their way. We cannot allow Walmart to continue trampling on the rights of its workers with impunity. We must stand in solidarity with Walmart workers and all workers fighting for fair treatment and dignity in the workplace. Their struggle is CWA's struggle, It's everybody's struggle. And so their victory will be a victory for justice and equality for all workers, not just Walmart workers, not just CWA workers. It's something that will level the playing field all the way across the board for workers. So in closing, I want you all to remember a time where someone could work one job and they could afford to purchase a home, they could afford to support a family. That's because that was during a time when unions were popular and they were setting the standard. They were setting a standard of fair and equitable pay across the board for everyone. So let us remember that the fight against Walmart's union busing is not just about the four walls of Walmart. It's about the soul of our society. It's about ensuring that every worker, regardless of where they work, has the right to organize and has the right to advocate for their rights without fear of reprisal. So together we're going to raise our voices, demand justice for Walmart workers, and we are going to call Walmart out as our union buster of the week. Thank you, Errol, again for having me on.
All right, Timia, you got it down pat over there, don't you?
I do. I'm working on it.
We're gonna have to put you in charge of the sound.
I can be the sound lady. Just let me know.
All right. Thank you so much, Timia, for exposing Walmart. Up next, we have Makia Jones with Men's Health Week. You're tuned into KYOK 1140 AM 106.5 FM, Communication Workers of America, CWA Human Rights, our power. Good morning, Makia.
Good morning, Errol. Good morning, KYOK listeners. So this month, the month of June, is Men's Health Month. And this annual observance encourages men and boys to be proactive in their health by implementing healthy living decisions. And this week in particular is Men's Health Week. Men's Health Week originated in the United States in 1994 and has since spread to countries around the world. This is a dedicated week that shines a spotlight on the unique health and concerns impacting men. It serves as a reminder of the importance of addressing and managing health issues proactively. Men's Health Week encourages men to take care of their well-being, make informed decisions about their lifestyle choices, and seek appropriate medical support when needed. Men's Health Week is a global initiative used to increase awareness of mental health issues and encourage institutions to develop health policies and services that meet the specific needs of men, boys, and their families. On average, men in the United States die nearly 6 years earlier than women and are at a higher risk for many serious diseases, including heart disease, lung cancer, and HIV. In addition, men experience unique health problems that don't affect women, like prostate cancer. So schedule a health checkup this month. Encourage the men in your life to schedule regular checkups all the time. Yes, go to the doctor, fellas. Also, organize health education sessions. Arrange informative sessions or workshops that address men's health topics. Engage in physical activities. Promote physical fitness by organizing group activities or sport events during Men's Health Week. Encourage participation in activities such as group walks, sports tournaments, or fitness challenges. And also share health information. Utilize social media platforms, local newsletters, or community notice boards to share educational content related to men's health. Raise awareness about specific health concerns and prevention strategies and available resources. Also, support men's health organizations. Donate or volunteer with organizations dedicated to promoting men's health. So this month, let us celebrate and embrace Men's Health and Men's Health Week as a time to raise awareness, foster open conversations, and empower men to take control of their physical and mental well-being. Together, we can make a difference and inspire a healthier future for all of us. And don't forget, in honor of Men's Health Month and Men's Health Week, to wear blue on Friday, tomorrow, June 14th. Back to you, Errol.
All right. Thank you so much, Makia. And that is correct. We do have to make sure that we are taking care of our physical and our mental. And I will let you all know I went and had my physical done this year. So I'm just waiting for the results. And of course, I will share it with you. But I know I'm in good and perfect health. just a little heavy on the side, but not for long. You are tuned into KYOK 1140 AM 106.5 FM, Communication Workers of America, CWA Human Rights, Our Power. Take us with you on KYOKradio.org. Up next, spotlighting one of our very own is Reginald Small. Good morning, Reginald. So glad to have you with us.
Good morning, Errol, and it's mighty good to be here again this morning. And good morning, my KYOK radio listeners. I am and I remain Reginald Small, activist and communications workers of America, civil rights and equity chairperson. Once again, I reiterate to you that this is my favorite part of the program, spotlighting one of our own. This morning, we're spotlighting Joseph McCue. Joseph is the third of 7 sons born to James and Alice McCue of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He graduated from Duquesne University of Pittsburgh with a BA in philosophy. He has called DC home for almost 40 years. He worked for various law firms in Washington, D.C. before joining the CWA family in 2011. He has worked in the Human Rights Department with CWA for 11 and a half years. Joseph is also the president of the AFL-CIO constituency group, Pride at Work's Baltimore, D.C. chapter, and also sits on the National Executive Board of Pride at Work representing CWA. Joseph enjoys listening to and attending opera, jazz, and yes, Zydeco music, and live performances of such when able. He is also a huge not Dallas Stars fan, but Washington Capitals fan, and lives on Capitol Hill with his loving mother, whom he is caretaker. Good morning, Joseph, and welcome to the Our Power Show this morning.
Well, thank you, Reggie. I appreciate the introduction. And yes, Washington Capitals fan. And hello to everyone listening on the radio and the internet. Thank you so much for having me today. I appreciate it.
Oh, yes, it's good to have you, Joseph. And we are truly, truly happy to spotlight you today. You're one of those people that I call the behind-the-scenes worker bee. And you're all the buzz that supports all the work that we do here in this Human Rights and Education Department. Actually, whether it's helping with travel questions, navigating the headquarters building, or sending out our valuable training materials, we absolutely could not do this work without you. Thank you so much for all that you do. But Joseph, this morning, I want to know what's going on in the world of activism in DC.
Thank you. It has been very busy being Pride Month, and I would like to begin by saying that Pride at Work, as you mentioned, is under the umbrella of AFL-CIO. It's one of the many constituency groups, and we have chapters all over the country, so no matter what state you live in, you can join a chapter by going to www.prideatwork.org, and you can sign up to join a chapter near you. And being the president of the Baltimore, D.C. chapter, we started by volunteering to help with this second ever Trans Pride DC, which occurred at the Martin Luther King Jr. Library in Washington, D.C., and it was very well received and attended, and it was a successful day, and it involved many workshops and educational workshops designed to open people's minds and understand pronoun usage, for example, and understanding trans identity by our citizens who identify as trans. Then we had our Capitol Pride Parade and Festival last weekend here in Washington, D.C. And it was a dry run for next year because in 2025, World Gay Pride is going to be in Washington, D.C., and they changed the parade route and restructured the festival and all that. And so that the city would be ready for next year's even larger event. And then next weekend is Baltimore Pride. And then at the end of the month, the Poor People's Campaign, we're participating in that mass rally for low-wage workers as well.
Thank you, Joseph. It seems like you've been very, very busy and going to be very busy this month. But you said something, well, you mentioned the Pride celebrations coming up, and I didn't know about the World Pride in 2025. But for those people, for those radio listeners that maybe have a certain image of a Pride celebration or Pride weekend, could you expound a little bit on what actually takes place or some of the things that take place during the Pride celebrations?
Oh, yes, certainly. It's almost in every city a week-long event, and it ends usually with the parade and the festival. But before that, there are many church services, union meetings for union people, and also workshops, and again, just community support by various groups, and they usually meet throughout the week at usually a church, and then have discussions on whatever topic they're handling. And then at the end of the week is usually when you have the parade and the festival.
Thank you, Joseph, for sharing that. I know that we have in our minds that everything is a nice party and bright colors and a celebration, and it is a great celebration. But there is so much information that comes out of Pride, health fairs, other information that comes out of Pride, and I did want you to talk about that. So thanks for sharing that. Also, Joseph, speaking of intersectionality, can you talk a little bit about the Starbucks Workers United and how they intersection with Pride at Work?
Yes, I'm happy to, and it was very happy to report that it was a successful campaign, but it was led by Starbucks Workers United, and 63% of Starbucks workers are LGBTQIA+. And so Pride at Work offered to help in any way we could. And over the last 6 months to a year, we helped at many Starbucks locations, going in and speaking to the workers without getting anyone in trouble with the boss. But, go in and talk about unionizing their shop, and then be in front of the shop with signs in support of the workers, and have sip-ins, which would be along the same lines. We would go in, buy coffee, and then but talk to the workers about joining the union. And it was a successful campaign, and happy to say that the owners of Starbucks have agreed to go to the table with the workers, and they have now a national contract, and they're going to be going store by store negotiating that contract. So we were very happy to be a part of that and helping.
Good. Thank you for sharing that with us, Joseph. That's very important, and that's good news and a victory for Starbucks, Starbucks Workers United. And then, Joseph, I was reading actually somewhere, and I think we talked briefly about this in a different conversation, about the Pride at Work and the focus on housing, housing for low-wage workers. Can you share with us a little about that?
Yes. One big issue, and we discussed this last January on the National Executive Board for Pride at Work. The trans issue is, of course, a big one, but number two probably is affordable housing for workers. And it's not just LGBTQIA+ workers. It is everyone who works in restaurants and salons, barbershops, etc. But most workers can't afford to live in the neighborhood or downtown area that they work. And so they have a very long commute to and from work because they can't afford to live in the neighborhood or city that they work. And it's takes a lot of extra wear and tear on your body and mentally. because you have this long commute just to get to your job.
Yeah, that's an issue, Joseph, that seems to be taking place in every city now. So that's a really important focus. And thank you for sharing that as well. Joseph, we thank you so much for your dedication to CWA, your support to the movement, and your work with Pride at Work. It's been my honor to spotlight you today, Joseph McCue. And now, without any further ado, I'm going to turn this back over to Errol.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reginald Small, for spotlighting one of our very own, Mr. Joseph McCue, the senior campaign lead of CWA. Up next, we have, the trivia, the Our Power trivia. And I'm told by a little birdie that someone has backed out. And I don't think he really has. Have you, Mr. Small?
I didn't know that I was going to be per se outed on the show this morning. So no, I'm all in. Errol Minor, I'm all in. Let's get this party started so that I can take this victory one more time.
All right, Micaiah, go right ahead.
All right, so okay, we're back for another round of Our Power trivia. And today the trivia will be between my senior campaign lead, Joseph McCue, and Reginald Small. Joseph, you got to bring this home for the Human Rights Department. Don't make us look bad.
Okay.
So are you ready?
Yes.
All right, so the way that we'll play the game is I'll ask a series of 5 questions. If you'd like to answer the question, say your name. Your name is your buzzer. The name that I hear first, I will call on, and you'll have the opportunity to answer the question. If you answer the question correctly, you'll get the point. If you answer it incorrectly, then you'll have to, then your opponent will have the ability to steal the question, answer it correctly, and get the point. Are you both ready?
Yes.
Give me 1 second. All right, let's go. When did Men's Health Week begin?
Reginald,
Reginald.
1990s something, 4.
All right, that's 1 for Reginald. Next question. What holiday do we celebrate on June 19th?
Joseph.
Joseph?
Juneteenth.
All right, it's 1 and 1. Next question. When is Men's Health Month?
Reginald,
Reginald?
of course, June.
All right, that's 2 for Reginald. Next question. Why do we celebrate Juneteenth?
Reginald,
Reginald.
because of freedom that finally came to the enslaved in June 19th, 1865 via Galveston, Texas.
All right, y'all heard it. Reginald came through and he won. Reginald got the first 3 out of 5. Congratulations today, Reginald from District 6.
Rest if you must, but don't you quit.
And I just want to say our last question would have been, when is voter registration day? And voter registration day this year is September 17th. So everyone make sure that you're registered to vote. If you know someone that's not, please make sure that they're registered to vote this year by September 17th. Back to you, Errol.
Thank you so much, Micaiah. Congratulations to Mr. Reginald Small. We will definitely make sure you get your gift from your local Dollar Tree. As we come down to the final minutes of the show, our union brothers and sisters and siblings at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette have been outside for 18 months on the picket lines. And yet, while they are out on the picket line striking, they're still churning out the news with facts for you and I. Let's show our support to them by making sure we subscribe to unionprogress.com. Once you subscribe to this free publication, how about going over and donating to the strike fund at cwa.org/PPG-donate. And I just heard someone shout, "We are family." Yes, we are. Our brothers, sisters, and siblings at Maximus are still fighting for a contract. And since you are in a giving spirit, because it is better to give than receive, journey over to cwa.org CCW Solidarity Fund and help the workers and their families of Maximus. And we are vastly approaching the CWA National Human Rights Conference from August 11th through 14th in beautiful Houston, Texas. We hope that you have already made plans to attend, and if not, there is still time. Make sure you make your reservations today. We will be at the Hilton Americas, in Houston, August 11th through 14th. We thank all of our guests again for being in the studio with us today. Kim Lanier, the co-director of Texas Federation of the People United. Don't forget the North Houston Youth Career Carnival, June 15th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Victory International Church, 170 Rittenhouse, Houston, Texas, 77076. And to our very own Joseph McCue, the Senior Campaign Busy Bee Lead of CWA. Thank you so much, Joseph.
Thank you.
All that you do. And let's not forget AFA-CWA, that there is a code red going out today. As a matter of fact, in 4 minutes, you can be at a local airport to help them today. An hour is not long enough to be with you, and a week is too long to be away from you. You have been tuned into the CWA Human Rights Justice Our Power broadcast. I hope something you heard today has inspired you to take action toward creating positive change in the world. Every person has the power to make a difference, no matter how small. And by working together, we can create a world where human rights are respected and valued. So I encourage each of you in the listening audience to reflect on your role in promoting human rights to effect change in your communities and beyond. Know that you are not alone in your quest for a more just and equitable world. When faced with injustice, it can be easy to lose hope and give up. But remember, justice may be slow, like the truth, but when it finally comes, it will stand. Happy Pride Month. Until next Thursday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, right here on KYOK 1140 a.m. and the all-new 106.5 FM, KYOKradio.org.